the people have the correctly like the
information or something.
yeah, like maybe it's like the information, and they also
Yeah.
said the rabies was very very dangerous, but it's sure if you got the rabies is 100% to be died, but
Mm-hmm.
it is based on the animal's bite you is on the like it is on the paroxysms.
Shema, Shema. The parasitism.
Is on the period of disease.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you have to understand. I mean, you've been living through the pandemic. I mean, sort of in ground zero. I mean, not quite the center of the pandemic, but pretty close to it. And so the precautions and things that happen in China are always going to be very different than it is in other places in the world. And so I think it's going to be like that for a long time now. I mean, people aren't going to take a chance because of the fact that it was such a challenge for a couple of years. I mean, it still is. I mean, you're talking. I mean, I got COVID last week, right? And so you know, I had it for about 8 days, and you know, today's like the first day I sort of feel somewhat normal. But now in America, it's like, oh, you've had COVID? I've had it like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, what?
Oh yeah,
It's
that's true. That's true. My father he told me yesterday um he had a customer from hmm, me
overseas.
no
Why
Indonesia
go? Oh, Indonesia.
Indonesia,
Indonesia. Yeah.
and he got the COVID-19 about 3 times. But it's no
Which is
matter.
great.
It's yes.
It, it matters to me. I don't want it. I don't want it. The first day wasn't too bad. Second day was pretty rough. Third day was about the same, but it started to affect my mood. My mood on day three was very dark. Like I didn't want to get out of bed, and so even my cold symptoms were fairly mild, but my feeling in my mind was just like really down. And so it
You
took me a
got
while to get
this
out of that.
COVID-19 before? Have you got
No,
it?
no, my first time. You know, I've been so cautious, and then
Or
I
it's
took
your first time to got a COVID-19?
yeah, yeah, and
Oh,
so I took I just I didn't wear a mask on the airplane and on the trip, and I know that's when it happened for sure because it tested positive really quickly. All right, um,
oh, cat
these
house.
yes, and so the thing here is, you know, I used to make these for my cats in Thailand, and then sometimes I make them for the kids if they had cats in China, you know, and they always thought it was pretty amazing. You know, it's no big deal. It's just made out of cardboard. I mean, people buy them, but the reason why you don't want a permanent material is because the cat gets bored of it. You're gonna throw it away or recycle it later anyhow. And so any kind of box that you can put different levels or holes in, they love it because it's part of their nature, you know, to go around and explore and so forth.
My
These,
gosh, what is that? It's
which one?
so
This one?
expensive. Yes, this is
Well,
about
that's
2000 and
yeah, but I wouldn't buy one. I would make one out of a box. It's easy. Yeah, this is just somebody being silly, right? You know, going overboard on Etsy. Uh,
my sister.
how about this one? DIY. Do it yourself. Wow, that's crazy. Cat tree. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, see, this is kind of a DIY project, right? That's all you do is you need some box. You ask the IE for a box. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
My cat. Ah.
See, you need to make him a little box house. You get some
Yes,
scissors or a knife.
we bought a cat
No, you don't buy
house.
it.
Wait,
You don't.
online
They
in
don't like it. They
Taobao.
don't like it. You don't buy it. You make it out of a box. You have to make it for them. They love it more when you make it for them. Trust me, it's a handmade gift, and it turns into get your sister to help you. It's like a project. You get the IE to give you some cardboard or a box, and you start cutting holes in it because the cat's going to be watching you make it. The cat's going to be like, "What are they doing? What's going on? I want to investigate." And so then the cat will mimic your behavior. And so if you're making the house for him, he's going to be interested in it. But if you buy it off Taobao, the only time the cat is interested is when you take it out of the package. Because it's like surprise, like what's going on, right? And then the cat, they don't play with the cat house you bought on Taobao. They play with the bag that the cat house came in, right? So
Yeah.
that's how cats think. And so it's better to make it because they become part of the process. It's just like teaching students or children. You have to make it so they are involved. That's how sort of special cats are. I mean, that's how intelligent they are. They mimic our behavior. Um, you probably know there's lots of students or maybe colleagues or coworkers. And so if they have a cat, the cat wants to come into the meeting, right? And get
Mm,
on the keyboard and so on. And so people say, well, how do I keep my cat off of my computer, off of my keyboard? I said, you have to make a little keyboard, a little computer for the cat. Like what? I said, yeah, because the cat's gonna follow your behavior. So right now the cat wants to be with you, with me in class. And so if you make a little tiny place, he'll go over there because he'll think, oh, this is my class. Just like children. It's amazing.
yeah.
All right.
And the thing is, IQ is very high.
Yes. But not just IQ. They have other senses, right? And so
Yeah.
obviously, I think their eyesight is not very good. It's designed for detecting motion. And so they can only sort of see things that are kind of moving clearly. If it stands still, that's why sometimes in the wild, when a cat is hunting something, if the thing holds very still, the cat might just go past them. They don't see it. But if it moves, the cat can sense the motion. So good luck on your journey. When we left last time, we were talking about goal setting because you were having some difficulty with maybe what was going on with the test or the program. I sent a message to the school and they said they would check. I haven't heard back from them yet. I said the same thing to you. The other thing is um, these files that I sent you, they're already deleted. I'm not sure why. Did you delete the file?
No.
Okay. And so it might be a WeChat thing because I'm over here. That's what I'm thinking. But let's see here.
No, I can open it.
Yeah, mine's deleted, so I need to find out where it went. And so we were talking about, setting goals and so forth. And I'm sure you probably didn't have enough time to really think about it anyway because you've been busy with the cat and getting rabies shots. Um, and so it's still something to sort of consider, which is I said to you is if the goal is to make sure that you get to Hong Kong to study, but be close to your family, then whatever you have to do that, then that's probably going to be okay. Whether you're taking the test for Toronto or whatever it is, I just don't know because I don't have enough information yet.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at the annotation files. So my first classes in China in 2007 were at Wanansi Fandaho at South China Normal University.
Oh,
And so this is only like one of the classes. We have many classes. this program was for students whose English level maybe was a bit low, or they had some difficulty on the Gaokao, whatever it is. And so they're going to study in Australia at the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, RMIT. And so what RMIT did was they created a REW program, which was like IELTS basically, and they just changed it so they wouldn't be exactly the same product, but quality control. Some of these students I still talk to. I usually talk to the best students, and the ones that I see the most when I'm in China is usually the worst students. And either they live nearby me or something. So it's always kind of funny and awkward. The same difficulty that these students had over 15 years ago in English, you are still having now.
Uh, really?
Yeah, because it's an issue dealing with morphology and sort of speech pathology, in the sense that most of the pronunciation issues you're having are sounds that you do not have in your first language. And so basically you're learning to make a new sound. And even though you've studied English for a long time, even your teachers probably have the same issue. And so the accent is affecting the pronunciation. Do you think that these students look very different than your classmates now?
Yes.
Yeah. And so you could tell that it's like, from 15 years ago, maybe it's going to get pretty close. It'll be 17 years maybe. And so this would be sort of like not quite the next generation above you, but definitely, older brothers, older sisters, that kind of thing like that. 15 years,
Oh,
almost a big difference. So, so let me ask you, in compare and contrast for the exam, or talking about these ideas, and we always want to look at different things and come up with the comparison, what is similar, and then of course what is the contrast. And immediately I said to you, can you see that they're different from you now? And you started laughing. Yes. Okay. Give me some examples of why you say that these students are different. How do you know that
the
they're not?
hair, the hair and the dressing.
Okay, but think about being more specific for IELTS. The hair and the dresses. Well, I don't see anybody wearing a dress. I see people the way they are dressed or their clothing. And so
The clothing.
this kind of hairstyle, uh, this is a very sort of, at that time, this is definitely a very Guangdong Playboy sort of haircut. Some of these girls, you can tell, still have their short hair left over from high school, right?
Yeah.
Um, these are pretty standard hairstyle. Not a lot of styling, just a little bit, right? Or the classic. This is Hank Yang. I remember him. The shaved head. Again, boys with gel and blow dryers. All right. How about my style? Do I look different?
Mm. Yes, it looks younger.
Well, of course it's younger. It's 15 years ago, but it's also a lot fatter too. I can tell you that. I know under this beard is not a beard. It's all neck in this case. Um, okay, so some of the things that are different, you said, was the hairstyle, and then the other thing that you mentioned that was different was you said the dress, but I think you mean the way they dress, or their clothing, right? Their fashion, their style. So give me an example of what's so different in their fashion that you said, "Ooh, that's a long time ago."
Mm,
Is it the style? Like he's wearing really big clothes, big pants, and big
the
polo shirt.
style.
And this style, because I remember him, he told me he was a jackalope, which I didn't understand what that meant, but he was a hip hop dancer, a street dancer. And so
Really?
he used to do a lot of popping and stuff. So that's one of the reasons why his clothes are big, because he's trying to look like,
Oh, I
American hip hop.
see. I see most people wear the jeans.
Yeah, we used to wear jeans for sure.
It's
Myself
very
wearing
popular
denim.
in that year.
Yeah, it was like country bumpkins. The shoe thing also. Like I remember this guy here, he loved to play mahjong, but he always sort of dressed, like somebody who spends too much time in the bawanga or the karaoke parlor. Um, What else is different here besides their hair and the dress? Anything else?
Yes, the photo. It
Okay.
seems like the old photo.
Yeah, it's not a very good image because I know this has been copied like a million times from different computers and different files and so forth. I might actually have the real photo someplace. Um, so, like I said, I remember certain students. I remember Hank Yang. I remember Queenie, Yolanda, and this is kind of like my second other class. We had like an intermediate and advanced. And again, the thing that I'm always paying attention to is what is coming out of the mouth for pronunciation. And it's the same thing. It's short vowels are too short and long vowels are not long enough. And the mouth doesn't open up big enough except when you're smiling or joking around, right? Something like that. Okay. Um, do you think that they learned English differently than you do now?
No, I
Okay.
think it's the same.
In some ways, for IELTS, it is the same because a lot of the questions are still the same after 15 years of the exam. I would say that they learn differently in the sense that you have to understand that this is just when we started getting the smartphone, you know, and so most people didn't have a smartphone. They maybe had a flip phone or just a regular mobile phone, right? But very
Yeah.
simple game, right? You remember you're probably too young. If you're 20, 21, you're only about 5 years old. And so also notice you don't see people holding their phones in the photo here. You don't see a lot of books and everything else in the background. So it was very different for study back then. I mean, everybody had a dictionary instead of putting it in their phone. And so they had do a lot of different style of work to make it happen. But the issues were the same for pronunciation. The issues were the same mostly for grammar and for structure. That has not changed. That means that even though English has changed a little bit and Chinese people are a bit better at English now, it, the difficulty is still the same, whether it's for you, my other students, or these students from way back when. Let's take a look at this idea of this fundamental coaching philosophy here. And so sometimes I always look for things that are relatable to students. And so if you saw this heading in the exam, what would you describe this as? What is this?
Mm,
If I said, hey, what are you looking at? How would you explain this?
it is the it is the fundamental coaching.
Well, okay,
Um,
that's the article. That's the article. But really what I'm asking you is
wait me 2 minutes. I can't. I'm
okay, go
so
ahead.
angry about this cat.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.